Hi, Dylan. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
So, how have things been going? Like, what have you been up to lately?
Things are going well lately. I just put out a new song
Mm-hmm.
on Friday, which I'm super excited about, and we've got live music coming back to the scene. So we had the band playing on Saturday night just at a local venue here in Newmarket, and then have a bunch more booked coming up. So it's one thing that I've really missed is playing live, and so it's been a lot of fun to get back up there.
Awesome. I'm fairly close to you, so hopefully I'll be able to go up and see you play at some point.
Right
So,
on. Yeah, cool.
and yeah, so I love your music, and I really love that sort of classic rock infused country vibe you got going on. So what
Thank
made
you.
you what made you get into music in the first place?
Honestly, it runs in my family quite a bit. So from a young age, like my dad is a big piano player, singer, songwriter. My grandpa played piano and sang a bit too. So from a young age, there was always, people playing around the house. And then I started playing piano at a young age, didn't love it, and then ended up picking up a guitar and just fell in love with that. And so that's really how I started playing. That was probably around the age of 10. I picked up a guitar and then didn't start singing till a bit later, probably like 15, 16, and then just fell in love with that and just started writing my own songs and went from there.
Cool. And I read that you had your own financial service career that you
Hmm.
sold so you could go all in on your music. So how was making
Yeah.
that leap?
Yeah, it was a difficult decision for sure because I went to university and got a business degree in finance and then got a job out of university at an accounting firm. And so I was doing that for a couple of years. But I was always playing music and then really didn't start taking it seriously till a couple of years after graduating. So it was tough. Like I had a bit of an established career. I wasn't loving it though. I wasn't loving the grind, sitting at a desk all day. I like to be up and moving around too. So I decided to just make the change and really go all in on music. And then I ended up leaving the financial services industry, starting my own company with my buddy, doing actually landscaping and stuff and maintenance. So we did that for a while, and we still have that business going as well. So that's kind of what I do now is the business, and then try to focus on my music as much as I can.
Yeah, it's cool. And I mean, knowing how to you did like accounting stuff, right?
Yeah,
Knowing that is good for like a musician. So like
yeah,
where your
absolutely,
money's going, and it's a good skill to have.
absolutely. Yeah, I learned a lot. So
Yeah. So what made you go into country music specifically?
I really just fell in love with it when I first went to school in Guelph.
Right.
So I mean, it's huge out that way, right? So
Mhm.
I was always like a classic rock type guy growing up, and then yeah, in 2014 is when I really got introduced to country music um, from a lot of my friends there, and I fell in love with it. I just loved the lyrics behind a lot of it was the main thing for me,
Mhm.
and how like there's clever ways of portraying a message, and so I just fell in love with it then, and really haven't looked back since. And then I think they're kind of compatible. Like rock and country are similar in a lot of ways. The way the songs are written, country is one of the only genres that still has guitar solos, really.
Yeah.
So, um, and I think for me as a solo artist, I fit into that mold too. Um, and I feel like the rock scene is a bit diluted, and um, so I thought country would be the best place to go for me. And then I started tailoring my sound and have met people along the way that have influenced me, and here I am.
Awesome. What artist sort of you were you first introduced to that inspired you for the country? Can you remember?
Um, yeah, for sure. There's a lot, but Eric Church was a
Yeah.
big one. Um, Chris Stapleton
Mm.
was a huge one. when I first heard his voice, I was like, wow, I was just blown away,
Yeah, he's so good.
no one can sing like that guy. And I was like, this guy is absolutely crushing it. I loved his songs, his style. So he was a major one for me. Um, Thomas Rhett is cool too. Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs, and then some of the older stuff like Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
I really like dig his stuff. John Michael Montgomery. So then I started going down the rabbit hole of listening to the older stuff, like Alan Jackson,
Hmm.
great too. Saw him live as well. So
Cool.
yeah, those are the main influences for me.
Awesome. Those are great influences. So, so let's get to some music. So you picked our
Yeah.
playlist. So three of your own songs and three songs that have inspired you or influenced you in some way. And the first song you have for us is your new single called Slow Motion, which was just released this month, the month of March, depending on when you're listening to this. So what's the story behind that song?
Yeah, so I really love this song. I ended up writing it with two twin brothers. So we write together a lot. We were getting together every week writing. And so yeah, it was interesting. We got together, the twin brothers and I, and Brian and Gary are their names. And we were writing for about 2 hours. Not much was coming out of it. Like we were having like writer's block that day for whatever reason. And so we ended up taking a break, just kind of chilled out and we're just talking, having fun. And then we got back into it, cleared our minds out. And Brian started playing this riff. And then I just started kind of like singing over top of it from the verse. Gary was talking about like slow motion as an overall theme and like staying in slow motion with you. You know, time seems to fly by me. And the song was really about being present to the moment and just, being grateful for where you're at right now, which I think is something that a lot of people forget sometimes with the way the world's working and like how fast paced everything is and trying to like get where you want to go. And sometimes it's good to just chill out, take a deep breath and be grateful for what you have right now. So, and then obviously it was written with a certain someone in mind, being about a girl, which we all connected with, that special person in our minds when we wrote the lyrics. And yeah, it was right when we were writing it, we thought, wow, there's something here.
Awesome. I really love that idea of staying in the moment, especially in like with a relationship, because it's so
Yeah.
important. And I have to remind myself of that all the time because
Yeah, for sure.
but I love that, and I really love this song. So let's get to it.
Thank you.
So here is
Yeah,
Slow.
for sure.
So what made you get into songwriting? Like what inspired you or influenced you into writing songs?
It's a good question. I don't know if I can put an exact pinpoint on it, but I do remember one of the first songs I ever written was about a girl, and I was like in grade 9, and she broke my heart,
Oh,
and so I was like, I'm gonna try writing a song about this. And it was terrible, like the first song you write is never gonna be the best one. I think you constantly get better the more you do it, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so after that, I kind of developed a bit of a formula. I started doing some reading on songwriting too, and like looking at what other people were doing. One of my best friends in high school too, he played music as well. So the two of us would like, after school get together and write songs. And so that's pretty much how I got into it. Um, but it's something I've always been passionate about. I think it's, I'm better at that to communicate a lot of the time than actually talking,
Yeah.
because I can put my words into a song and like kind of think it out and, develop a melody that fits the message properly. And then I've just ran with that. And there's a bit of a formula we do have. And like I can kind of just share it on here. But for anyone that's,
share your secrets.
yeah, if anyone like is looking to get into songwriting, this is something that kind of made it a little easier, I guess. And sometimes if you're stuck to, because you can write a song in like 20 minutes, it might not be good, but if you really sit down and follow this formula, I think you can write a song in 20 minutes. The first thing that I do is I have a theme or a song title, right? So for example, you could say summertime as the title or the theme. And then the second thing is try to find a beat for the song. So we do, a song like Summertime, you want it to be upbeat and like a feel good tune that you're going to be able to bob to or whatever. So you do the beat second, and then third, you try to follow and go into the chorus. So you're going to try to write that overall like big hitting message in the chorus to really nail that, because that's like how you feel, like the actual message you want to portray. And then from there, you want to fill in like the verses and like the story of what's going on, which is more what the verses are, and the chorus is how you feel. And the bridge could be, what if or something like that. So those are kind of the rough steps that we follow. That being said, I find the best songs I have written are not following that formula. That makes sense.
Does the formula work or not?
It works. It definitely works as something, as a baseline to follow, I find. But for example, like Slow Motion, we just wrote it from the beginning to the end. Like we didn't have it write it that way. So sometimes you just gotta not care and just do it freely. But I find that formula does work well.
Nice, yeah, and it sometimes it's easier just having like a foundation to kind of build off of, even if you don't always stick to it. But kind of in your mind, you have that clarity. So I expect all of you to write some songs now. All of you that are listening.
Yeah, take that formula down. There we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
For
and sure. I know you do. How much of your songwriting is just you, and how much of it is like co-writing, would you say?
I'd say it's about half and half. Most of the songs that I have out are co-written to some degree. But a lot of the time, like we have a group chat and we'll write something and maybe send it and see what someone else can do. And sometimes we'll do it in person or over Zoom, but I do find the more people you get involved, the better you can make it, with more creative minds. That's what I find. I do like co-writing, but a lot of the time when we write, we get together and we have an idea already that we've worked on. So you're like, oh, I got this idea, and then, okay, let's work off that. Or no, we don't like that. Like, I got this idea. So you come in loaded with like something already in place. So you're not just starting at zero. I find works, but I do enjoy co-writing, and I like it just being like a fun, friendly environment where it's not forced, like it's like, I can't write in a very forced, rigid environment. I'm very like freelance, like, I'm joking around, like having fun with it. It's all part of the fun, right? So
yeah. Do you co-write with like the same people, or do you change it up, or?
Yeah, mainly the same people right now. But that being said, I think that's something I do need to work on, is just like networking and working with others and writing with new people, because I feel like you can learn a lot from other songwriters, right?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, for the most part, I find everybody's pretty willing to write with you, or at least try it out. So I never heard you ask.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly. What's the worst thing that could happen, right?
Yeah. They say no, and then they say mean things to you, and you cry.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Anyways, so let's get back to some more music. So the next song you have for us is Simple Man, the Shinedown version, originally Leonard Skinner. So why did you pick this
song? This is just a song that I've always loved from a young age, again. And Shinedown is one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but Brent Smith is the lead singer, and his voice is just incredible. Like, I remember hearing him for the first time on this song, and I already knew the Leonard Skinner version, but I heard what he did with it, and I was like, wow. So it's just something that I've always loved. I love the lyrics in it too, the message behind it. And I did choose the Shinedown version just because if anyone who doesn't know Shinedown or wants to check it out, like, I would highly suggest listening to this cover, because he puts his own twist on it, and there's something about the tone of his voice and what he does with it that just really connected with me.
Awesome. Yeah. I always think of Guitar Hero when I hear this song. Remember that game?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I used to love that.
Yeah. That's all
Through
I
the
know.
Fire and Flames,
Yeah.
that song too.
Yeah. Anyways, so here is Simple Man by Shinedown. So where did your love for classic rock come from?
Again, I think it was my upbringing,
Yeah.
like with my family. There was always, that was just what was playing around the house in the car. So a lot of that comes from my dad again, because he was huge into music and he was always showing me songs and stuff from a young age. So that's really what I fell in love with about it. And then I don't know, I always end up going back to that too. Like I always end up going back listening to classic rock. I find it never seems to get old, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
always find those songs that you can just kind of listen to over and over and over again. They never get old for you, and
yeah,
nice to
yeah.
have. So, you released an EP last year called "Not My First Rodeo." Can you tell us a bit about like the making of that and how that all came about for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a ton of fun making that EP. So I worked with again those same songwriters I was telling you about.
Hmm.
We co-wrote, I think all those songs they were on to some degree, helping out with the writing process. So and then I ended up connecting with I played at the Magna Hoedown in 2019 and I met some people there that were producers and session guys, and they were like, we would love to work with you. And so I ended up connecting with them, and their group is called The Agenda. And they produce for various other country artists in Canada and super talented guys. And so I got into the studio with them with the songs written. We did 3 songs off the bat. So went in, tracked everything, laid everything down. I did vocals on a separate day. Um, and then released 2 of those as singles. And then we went back in, did 3 more songs with the guys again, and then ended up releasing the 6-song EP April of last year.
Cool, awesome. So, off that EP, the next song you have for us is not your first rodeo.
Yeah,
Had to really remind myself of those. So, what's the story behind that song?
yeah. So that was a cool one. We co-wrote that one again, same guys. Um, and Brian had this idea already, um, you know, and then I really connected to Boots and Hearts for this song.
Hmm.
Like I remember just seeing people like dancing in the tailgate of a truck, in the heat of summer, getting drunk, having fun, partying. So that's really what this song is about. It's about just like that type of Boots and Hearts, fun environment. So that's what we connected with. It wasn't really written about anyone specific in mind. It was just like kind of a tune to have fun with, pump people up, rock out. We wanted to keep it pretty heavy. So, um, yeah, I love this tune. It's the first tune that I had that went to radio as well,
Cool.
which is really cool. So Pure Country 106 played it, Sirius XM, CBC Country, um, 93.7 in Georgina, and then there's a few others like some in Ottawa, Manitoba. So um, that was really cool because that was like a dream of mine. I
Mhm.
was like
Yeah.
getting my song on the radio. So this song is super special for me.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I can totally hear that
Thank you.
like festival kind of vibe in that song. Like it has that sort of kind of party and fun.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I can totally. When you said Boots and Hearts, for those that don't know, Boots and Hearts is a big country music festival in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I can totally see Boots and Hearts now that you mentioned that with this song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So here is Not Your First Rodeo. So, music isn't always the easiest of career paths. So, what motivates you to keep working towards your dreams?
Yeah, you definitely nailed it. It's not the easiest career, and there's definitely times where I'm like, I want to quit or give it up, and I've thought about that many times. But I think for me, what keeps me going is just the love of doing it. For me, I think I would be doing it either way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
something I've always done. And so if I'm going to be writing songs and making music anyways, why would I not put it out for people to hear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest struggles I had was really caring what other people thought. And I think a lot of artists can relate to this too, because, some people, not everyone's going to love your music, right? There's going to be people that aren't, it's not going to be for them, which is fine. But I think if you stay true to yourself and you keep enjoying the process and you're passionate about it, I think that's what goes the longest way. I think in this day and age, a lot of people are like, they can really see through something that's not authentic.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not being yourself, if you're trying to fake it till you make it, I think those days are kind of behind us. I think people are really good at sensing that energy and picking up on a vibe that's not truly authentic. So for me, I think it's just been with staying with my true self, um, from a songwriting performance perspective, finding my own sound. And then what keeps me going, honestly, is like the team and support I have of
Mm-hmm.
people, like people that believe in me. It goes a long way. Like even just having your good friends and family support you goes a long, long way, because sometimes you need that extra little bit of support to
Yeah, for
keep
sure.
pushing through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so important to have such a good, like, having good people around you, because that can
Hmm.
kind of make and break you at the end of the day. And yeah, having that passion for it, I think will always drive you forward no matter what you're doing, because it's so
Yeah.
easy to like listen to what other people are saying about you, or want to give up and quit. And but always like going back to like why you're doing it in the first place is so important.
Yeah. And I think there's people that aren't are gonna want to see you do well.
Yeah.
And then there's people that don't want to see you do well. And that's always going to be the case in almost anything you do.
Yeah.
So you almost just have to like tune out the noise,
Hmm.
and just people that don't want to see you do well, just don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And
I
just
was
keep on doing you.
Yeah, I was kind of take the approach of like if you're like getting dislikes or like people aren't necessarily liking it, it's like, well, at least it's getting out there and people are seeing it. Like you're putting yourself out there, because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
usually more people like it than don't. And like you'll find those people that it resonates with, but it's always like, oh, I'm getting my stuff out there. It's good. Like you're getting out of your comfort.
Yeah, for sure. And also and this is something that's hurt me a bit, is I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So like, and I know other artists are like this too. You'll be making a video or doing, laying something down, and there's just like one little thing that is off about it or something that's going to bother you, and you're like, oh no, I'm not posting it, or I'm not going to put that out. But I think that's one of the things that makes it beautiful too, is like those little, imperfections that come along with it.
Yeah.
So I think, you have to get over that fear of having everything to be perfect and almost just start doing it. You just need to start putting stuff out, and you're going to get better as you keep putting more stuff out, and you're going to learn, and you're going to get more comfortable with it too. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think those mistakes too also kind of make it more human and relatable
hmm.
in a lot of ways, because like nobody's perfect and nobody wants to listen to a perfect singer because it's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I mean, how music started was like someone just picking up an instrument, playing it, and like humming or whatever.
mhm.
And that wasn't perfect, but it was authentic and it connected with people.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's tough in this day and age because comparing yourself to others too is a
Oh, for
big one.
sure.
Like there's always going to be someone that's better than you in a way.
Yeah.
So, but that's the beautiful thing about music, is there's so many different types, and everyone's voice is unique. Everyone's sound is unique. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's just something I really love about music in general.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. So, kind of like going a little bit farther into that, like what's one lesson you've learned so far in your music career?
Hmm. Good question. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons, I guess. Um, One, I think, is just to be positive. You know, there's sometimes I get negative in the past, and am negative about certain things and being attached to the outcome. And I think for me, it's just staying true to myself. Like I was saying in the last point,
Mhm.
is a big one. A lesson I've learned. and not developing a big ego is one too, which I
Yeah.
find is hard sometimes. Like just realizing that these people are helping you out. Like, try not to put yourself on a pedestal or put other people on a pedestal, and kind of just ground yourself and make sure you're grateful for everyone that's helping and grateful for the opportunities you've been given, and not to take anything for granted. Because in the long run, I think being nice and being a good person goes a long way. And it's not just about the music, it's about what you're doing off the stage as well. So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So let's get back to some more music. So the next song you have for us is Neon Anya, which
hmm
sounds weird when I say it out loud now. By Scott Stevens. Why did you pick this song?
I don't know. This is just a really cool song. Like, this
Yeah.
guy he's a pretty new artist. He's not that well known.
Hmm.
If you want to check him out, for sure, look this guy up because he's got some good stuff. I was just like listening to a random country playlist on Spotify when I heard this, and it just jumped out at me. It was so cool. Like, I don't know if you've listened to it yet, but it's like he's kind of talking in the beginning, and it's super laid back and lazy, almost like rapping at the beginning a bit, and then he goes into this like cool little vocal melody, and then in the chorus it's like hard rock,
Yeah.
and then there's a huge solo after the second chorus, and it's just a really cool written unique song that you wouldn't hear anywhere else,
Hmm.
um and yeah, so I think that's the main reason I picked this song. This guy is super talented, um and he's an up and coming guy he's out of the States, but um very talented guy. So
Awesome. Yeah, it is a really cool song. I hadn't heard of him until you wanted to play him on the show. So when I was looking him up,
hmm
I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I feel like he could do,
yeah,
he's got a career in front of him, hopefully.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, so here is Neon Anya by Scott Stevens. So what does country music mean to you?
Well, I think it's a lifestyle first and foremost.
Hmm.
Um, like like I said, the lyrics, the storytelling behind it is unlike any other genre. Like, country music tells stories,
Hmm.
And for me, growing up, like I didn't even listen to lyrics that much. Listen to classic rock, and then when I started getting to country, now I just listen to lyrics mainly when I'm listening to a song, and that's one of the big things for me is connecting on a lyrical, emotional level. And then it's just so fun too, right? Like, if you've ever been to a country concert live, there's nothing like it.
Hmm.
Everyone's just having a good time, partying, singing along, putting each other up on their shoulders, dancing around. It's just a ton of fun. And on the same side, you get that emotional connection through the lyrics. So those are the two main things that really connect with me with country music.
Awesome. I love that. Do you find like with country music too, you can kind of like you have more room to for like different topics to sing about because like you can kind of
hmm
sing about anything for the most part in country as opposed to kind of like pop or other genres. I don't know if you find that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're definitely right. You can write, like, I like to incorporate humor into some of my music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there's really any songs I've out that have humor in them yet, but when we write, like, I've written some just complete joke songs that, you can write about anything, like you said. And then you can also write on the other side, getting super emotional and cheesy and
Yep.
lovey-dovey. So you can do it all. Yeah.
Should put those joke songs out. People want to hear them. We want to laugh.
Yeah,
Okay? Even
I
just
will. I will one day. I
yeah.
will one day.
Awesome. Well, let's get back to your music. So the last song of yours you have for us is your song called "Summertime," which
hmm
we're all wanting summer right now because it's
Yes.
dark and gray and rainy right now.
I'm craving summer right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the story behind that song?
This song is really about, it's kind of about living for the weekend in a way. But like when we wrote it, we were all working, 9 to 5 jobs, grinding. I was doing landscaping out in the sun all day, sweating, and then you get done that work week, and you just feel so good after working so hard all week, and you want to celebrate and you want to live it up and you want to be with your friends and your significant others and your family. And that's really what this song was about, is getting to that end of the work week and just living in that moment. Summertime, underneath the stars, up at the cottage by the lake. I spent a lot of time up north in the summer too, at the lake and the cottage. So that's what this was about, was campfires, just the fun things you look forward to in summer.
Awesome. Well, here is Summertime. We'll do 5 quick questions. It's just for fun, whatever comes to the top of your mind first. It's very,
Yeah.
hard-hitting questions. So the first one is, what is your favorite snack food?
Favorite snack food? I'm gonna have to say buffalo chicken wings.
Oh, okay. One
Yep.
place one place you'd love to travel to?
Australia.
Favorite holiday?
I'm gonna go with Halloween on this one.
That's a good one. Cats or dogs?
Dogs for sure.
And favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Let's go Ozark right now.
Okay, nice. Well, you did it. Good job. So where can people find you?
You can find me on all streaming platforms. I do most of my posting and what I'm up to on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on YouTube as well. So Dylan Wallace Music is my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on there as well, posting videos. So everywhere. I do have a website as well. So Instagram is probably the best bet to follow for updates of what I'm up to currently. I am going to start pumping out some more content on YouTube this year. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'd say those are the main spots you can find me.
Awesome. And I'll have all those linked in the show description, so you can just hit those links so you don't have to search for it.
Beauty.
Awesome. And the last song you have for us is Hotel California by the Eagles. Why'd you pick this song?
This goes back to the roots again, from a young age, up at the cottage, by the campfire, jamming this song out. My dad playing and singing it as a kid, my grandpa playing it too, and the whole family just loving it. I love the lyrics in this song, so cool as well. Such like an interesting, you kind of have to decipher what they're trying to say in the lyrics, which I think is really cool. And then the guitar solo at the end is a big one as well. That was the first solo I really learned when I was playing electric. When I was learning guitar, I was like, I heard this solo and I was like, wow, like I need to learn this solo. So I spent days, weeks learning this solo and trying to perfect it. Yeah, just a song that's really close to my heart from a young age, and one of the ones that will never get old. It's one of those ones that comes on and I'll never skip over it,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that you have those memories too, like associated with music, with like your family, and it's so nice to have. Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, awesome. So thanks so much, Dylan, for coming on and talking about your music and your songs. And thanks so much for listening, and be sure to come back next week for more country music. So
thanks so much for having me.
I always never leave space for that, but yes. Yeah, so